Hi, I'm Natalie, your host, and I'm so excited to have my friend here, Jazz, and amazing social media manager. I'm excited to bring you on today to share your journey, your story, any insights, and just having so much success at a young age, and just sharing your story on how you can inspire others. So, welcome, Jazz. I'm so excited to meet with you and interview you today. You want to start by telling us a little bit about yourself, your background, how you got into this space, and just how you fell into being a media manager at such a young age.
Yeah. Oh my God, what an introduction. Thank you. Okay. Boosting my ego a little bit. Hi, I'm Jazz. I am the founder of Nove Media Co. And I have been doing social media management officially as a job for about a year, which is still crazy for me to say. I literally was working at Olive Garden for a year and it was the worst thing in my life. Restaurant business was not suited for me. It was fun, but I've always been very passionate about art and design and any way that I could really hold myself accountable. As a kid, I loved doing my own thing, which my parents probably hated. They're probably not that enthused that I would go run off and do my own thing. But just social media management, it was such an opportunity for me. Being a college student is how I got into it. And I saw a TikTok on it and I didn't even think it was a real job. Like I was one of those people who was like, it's
Yep.
probably not a real job.
It sounds
And
so
so
good. You work from home,
yeah,
you
I
run
was like,
a
no
media
way
account.
is this a real thing. I was yeah, I was in disbelief that like seeing how much money people were making from it and the opportunities they were getting from it, like they were getting put on like New York billboards, they were getting to speak at these events and all this stuff. And I was like, I've always wanted to be a face of something. And I know that's very cringe to say, but I used to have a little YouTube channel and
Mm.
I went to like VidCon during that. And being in that space of just creatives was something I knew I wanted to get into. I had no idea how I was going to do it, but I knew it was something I was really drawn to. And seeing that TikTok, I went to Phoenix from Flagstaff, like 2 hour drive, but I did it all the time. So it was very worth it to me because Flagstaff is cold. And so I drove down to Phoenix and I went to about like 10 different businesses and just
Wow.
seeing like anyone was really intrigued. If it was a natural thing because I didn't want to put all my eggs in one basket and go for it, which is funny enough saying because I got one yes and I literally put all my eggs in that basket and I was like, I'm going for it. Like I got one yes. I was like the pay was very bad, but just the opportunity to get to express myself that way, it was so fulfilling being like having all that homework constantly and then finally getting a break where I get to design and I get to post and I get to interact with all these people and understand algorithms and get back into numbers and everything about social media management has been just a dream for me,
That's
truly.
awesome. So put me in your shoes. At this time, you were what, like 18? I know you said you were working at Olive Garden. You
Yeah.
were a full-time student in like college during this time?
Yeah, so I quit Olive Garden right before I went to college, and in college I blew through my money way too fast, as every college student
Yeah,
does.
yeah, we all go through those days.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was applying for these different jobs and I ended up just not taking any of them. I don't know why. I don't know why I thought that I just didn't need it. I was like, I have like another semester, I should be fine. I was 18 and just I was not being that fulfilled by college. I craved more creativity and I was tired of reading textbooks and following those kinds of set rules where I was basically being prepared to be a manager of a business and not the owner. And so I just took that kind of leap of faith and just went into it at 18 and I think I got a lot of no's because of my age and finding those people who really believed in me because I was young and I understood that social media, I grew up with it.
Oh yeah.
It was hard for some people to understand that. And so it was a lot of fun to find those people who really believed in me. And like my first clients, like shout out to them. They built this all up for me. Like I can't give enough thanks and gratitude to them.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It seems like you've always been an entrepreneur at heart, especially like growing up in the age and having that like entrepreneurship drive. It seemed like a match made in heaven for you. And then when you talked about getting your first client, how you drove out and you went to 10 different businesses, were you like physically going to these businesses? Were you DMing them? Or if there's a new social media manager that's listening and they're like, man, like, how can I get my first client right? Because sometimes getting that first client is like the hardest, right? Getting someone to trust you. You're young. I know I'm very young in my businesses.
Yep.
That's always been a bit of a struggle. So for anyone listening, what advice would you give them to get their first client? I know you said you physically went. Tell us a little bit about that and what you would do differently maybe now.
Yeah, so I went in person and I am not a confrontational person. I have no idea how I did that. I think I was at like this is a make it or break it point where I was like, it's either I go and do it. And my thought process was if I say I at least went and did it and it's something that I was so outside of my comfort zone that I at least tried it, then if it didn't work, it didn't work. Like I was at that point where I was like, I'll at least do it, see if it works. If it doesn't, then I'm fine. I went in person and looking back, I don't do that anymore. I genuinely, it freaks me out thinking that I did that.
Mhm.
Like walking around Phoenix alone, going door to door. My thought process when I was doing it, obviously social media management, I was like, okay, check out I would just walk down a strip and I would look at their business name. I would search up in search bar on Instagram, find their business, and then see what their standing was on social media. Back then, I did a very rough social media audit. Like I would have a pain point for them where I was like, maybe they just haven't posted in months, and maybe that's why they need a social media manager. So really finding a pain point in their social media that maybe they just don't have the time for. Most business owners, when they want to outsource, they just don't have the time.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's something going on there. So being able to identify it and automatically having that step in the door of understanding that is their pain point and bringing a solution, they're going to be a lot more open to that idea instead of you going in and being like, I'm a social media manager. This is how much I am monthly. Do you want it? Like being able to relate with them in that way is going to automatically set you off on a better foot than just going
Yeah.
in.
And I think it's so amazing that obviously now you say you do things differently, but the fact that you say you're more shy and you physically went, drove to Arizona, you looked them up on Instagram, that just shows like if you wanted to, you would. You're in
Mhm.
that place. And I feel like sometimes when we're in that place, it pushes you to like the best version of yourself. And I feel
Yeah.
like I personally know you now too, like we're good friends. And
Yeah.
hearing that backstory, like it really is motivating to a lot of people because so many people let like their insecurities or their shyness hold them back, but like you
Mhm.
did it and you went in person. So that should show other people that they can do that too.
Yeah, no, it was, I still don't understand how I did it. I did it and it worked out, so thankfully. But just the worst thing that can happen is they say no. That is the absolute worst. They're not going to be like, this person was mean. You don't have your business really set up yet, anyways. You're fine. And obviously, being so upfront about it, like I would go in and they'd be like, how many other clients do you have? I'm like, I have none. Like, you would be my first, but I have experience from like high school of running a social media and I grew up with it. Just like being so like open because the people who are going to take you on
Mhm.
are gonna expect a lot. And so obviously don't price super high. Like you might see people who are like, I charge $600 a month for my first client. It's just not feasible. Like that is just not gonna happen. You have to understand that you are starting out and this is a learning opportunity, and getting the opportunity to even run one is going to set you up for that success in the future where you can start going way above 600 a month or whatever the goal might be for you. Just having that is the experience is going to be so much better than the money in the beginning.
Oh yeah, experience, learning, gaining that
Mm-hmm.
knowledge is priceless. And
Yeah, agreed.
what now that you are an experienced social media manager and you're doing amazing, how do you attract clients to you nowadays?
Yeah. So I always ask them that too. Like it was such like a turning point where I was no longer like creating those connections for them to be my clients. I started just creating connections to create connections because if they don't want you, then someone they know might want you.
Yeah.
And just really being relatable, like as open and authentic as possible. I push authenticity a lot on my Instagram, and I truly think that is the biggest difference that has ever made in my business. Like in the beginning, I was pretending to be this person who had a ton of clients and I was booked up. I had one client and I like literally had nothing behind me. So being now open about it and like authentic as possible about what I'm doing and where I'm at in my business, and attracting those people who understand that and really connect with me on that level, and just creating those connections to, I genuinely want to meet the people that I connect with. Like
Yeah.
when you connected with me, I was so excited about it. I was so excited, and it's turned into this. And that was just from me genuinely wanting to connect with you.
Yeah, likewise. It was like a simple
Yeah.
DM, and then
Yeah.
checking out your page, we met, and I feel since the first time meeting, we hit it off. We're both genuine in our
Mhm.
connection. I've
Yeah.
enjoyed the social side, and it's
Yeah.
been amazing since. So I feel like one thing I really love is like the community aspect that you
Mhm.
meet, right, with your clients and with other media managers. Yeah, no, it's been
Yeah.
awesome. Just with us too, I feel like
Mhm.
you're like one of the most genuine people I've met in the industry.
Oh,
That's why
thank
you're
you.
my first interview. I was like, I have to interview you. And I'm just so impressed with everything that you built. And you can tell, like, you're just such a sweetheart. Like, your kind
Oh,
really shines out. So I see why your clients like would trust you as well.
thank you.
Yeah,
Oh, that was so sweet.
of course. No, I really meant it as well. Obviously,
Yeah.
I didn't have that in my question.
All genuine. Noah.
Not
No
genuine.
ChatGPT wrote that.
No, no ChatGPT out here. But yeah, no, I really meant it. And I was excited to interview you. And I know
Yeah.
you had a lot of like success, right, at your young age,
Mhm.
but what has been like one of the biggest challenges like building your business? Like, what do you
Yeah. So,
hard?
ooh, building my business. I know there's a question later on about burnout, but honestly, balancing work life and personal life, I hit a point where I was working like 60-hour weeks, and I'd be on vacation at my boyfriend's, like, New Mexico. I was in New Mexico, away from Alaska, warm weather. It was nice out. It was a time for me to experience what it was like for him and his life. And I was working 60-hour weeks. I was not giving myself the time of day to relax and just enjoy myself. I really had no set boundaries with any of my clients. I was an open book, like text me at 2 in the morning, I'll respond type of ordeal.
You're like
Like the worst.
24/7 media manager.
Yeah, like I was a customer service hotline at that point. Like I was working around the clock, and I'm glad I put that effort in, but I should have set boundaries in the beginning. I wore myself out. I was not really looking out for my well-being at all, and I was not delegating tasks. I had no streamline. I was just doing things the day of and procrastinating, and just it wasn't the best situation for myself. And just the well-being was not good. The well-being was not good. The mental health was not good. And I think my clients really picked up on it a lot, and they understood that. And I'm so grateful for them to have understood that I was at that point, and to have those clients who even understood that. Like they got it, and they wanted me to take that break and understand and come back stronger and better. And so I'm really grateful for that. But oh, it was a journey.
The
That was like
journey.
year-long journey of understanding that.
Yeah, you definitely will learn a lot about yourself, your
Oh yeah.
mental, your balance, like everything. But I feel like it pushes you to your limit, but to
Mhm.
the greatness of you, the best version of yourself. So, with that being said, if you can go back in time, what's something you would tell yourself? Either a piece of advice, something you would do different, or anything, if you can go back in time, you would just tell yourself in that moment.
Yeah, as cliche as it is, I would honestly tell myself to just embrace the journey, like
Mm,
fully
love that.
get it and understand it and have fun with it. I was stressing myself out, and I wish I could go back and just be like, they're not gonna care if you're up until 2 a.m. Like they're not like they're sleeping at 2 a.m. You should be sleeping at 2 a.m. Like you can get up in the morning and take care of it then. Or even scheduling ahead. I think I put so much pressure on myself to work hard because I thought that would mean success. And success is obviously a term where it means different things to everybody. And to me, at that point, it meant working hard because I thought the payoff would come from that. And honestly, the break I took, I saw more payoff from that than I did when I was working 60-hour weeks. And I'm grateful I did it because it built me up to where I am today. But it's challenging starting a business. Like it's a huge step in life. It's a journey. It's full of failures. It's time to adapt and just keep pushing forward and just trusting the process all the whole way is really good.
100%. And I love what
Yeah.
you said, because one of my favorite quotes is enjoying the journey. The good
Yeah, exactly.
and it's a part of it. It's a part of the process of building a
Yep.
business, being an entrepreneur. It's not all up and glamorous. Love that. But this is a topic of conversation, something that I really wanted to ask you, because I know you're very active. You're very active on all your accounts. And so I want to talk about burnout. I know it's something that a lot of people don't talk about, which I think there should be more discussion on it. So have you ever experienced burnout? If you have, how have you dealt with it? And what advice would you give somebody who's watching this and they're burnt out? They don't know if they should keep going. They don't know how to keep going. What advice would you give them to get out of that funk?
Yeah, so burnout, I didn't even believe it was a real term. I didn't think I would ever hit burnout for some reason, even though I was working those 60-hour weeks. Like, I wish I could have gone back and told myself that's why you need to take a break, enjoy yourself. I recently hit burnout, the worst I've ever had it. And I had burnout before, but it'd be like a day where I was just like, I can't do anything today.
You're
It's just
tired
not
for the
happening.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a day burnout, but this was I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't even talk business. I couldn't even think about Instagram as a whole. I was like, I'm just hanging out with friends, and that's all I have the energy for. Like dinner, friends, that's it. Like
Uh-huh.
nothing in between. I couldn't think about it. And my clients obviously were like, hey, nothing's really happening. And so I was just 100% upfront. I was like, I reached out to clients who I just genuinely couldn't even have the brain capacity for. I was like, I wish you the best of luck. I just genuinely cannot do this right now. And I don't want to let you down in this sense that you're expecting this and I'm not going to be able to give you that. That deliverable is not going to happen for me. And I'll refund you whatever, like, however you want
Leave me
this to be
alone.
situated. Yeah. I'm like, take the money. I'm like, I don't even want to think about it right now.
Yeah.
And it's not them as a person, like making that so clear to them. Like, it is, I love working with you. Like, I genuinely wish you the most amazing things in life, but I cannot think about this right now and I cannot do this. And I spent about a month going through this and going through clients and telling them, like, hey, I cannot do this. Like, I lost clients through that month. And I've had some clients stick around because they understood it and they just gave me that break. And I'm so grateful to them. And obviously, full refund. I'm like, take the money. Thank
Take
you
the
for
money,
sticking
leave
with
me
me.
alone.
Yeah, I'm like, take it. I don't even care. And so them sticking around was just, it was so motivational to me. And it really helped me take out of that rut and get back into it. And just taking time for myself, just like reevaluating what I was doing. I think I hit burnout so bad because I had all these set goals in the beginning of the year and obviously New Year's resolution and all this, but I realized I hit those goals and I was like, now what do I
Now
do?
what? Yeah.
Yeah, like now what's the next step? And so I felt like I was just pursuing something that I already hit and I felt there was nothing there anymore. And I just lost a lot of passion for stuff I used to really love. And at the time, I was like, maybe I just don't do social media management anymore. And then I realized it's just burnout. I just need to reevaluate stuff I'm doing. So if you're burned out, take a step back, please, like for your own mental health, like for your own well being, for your business as a whole. If you have to start over again, it might be worth it. Like maybe reevaluate what you're doing. If there's those clients who really want to stick with you and they believe in you, then keep them. Just let them know, hey, it might be a bit. I might take a second. And just really having those people who support you, like community was one of the biggest things for me during that time. Like having people reach out to me and ask if I'm okay because they realized I wasn't posting, and having family members and friends who were really pushing me to at least talk a little bit about business if that was like aspects I really loved and stuff I really liked doing back then. Having them talk about it with me and really invigorating that sense of purpose back in my business was so good. Like it was one of the best things.
That's awesome to hear. So, what advice, like, what are you doing differently now to help
Mhm.
prevent burnout? Because I feel like so
Yeah.
many of us, we're getting so caught up in like work hard, working these long hours, like
Hustle culture.
but, like,
Yeah.
hustle culture exactly, but then you like lose yourself and then go through your business as well. So like what advice or like how would you structure your business now to where like
Mhm.
you're working and you're growing, but you're not like burning yourself out, losing
Yeah.
yourself, but like losing your passion for what you do?
Yeah. I had such a belief that I was the face of my business, which I am, but I am not my business. I am not the 24/7 girl anymore. That is just not me. And I think separating that in my head was one of the biggest things I did. Understanding that I have a life outside of business and business is just a thing that helps me live that life instead of my life is my business and I need to be doing these things to live that life.
I love that.
Really,
Absolutely.
yeah, like
Awesome.
understanding that there is a separation, and I don't know why it took me so long to understand that, but like I traveled for about 2 weeks just doing a road trip, and having no service was like the best thing I could have done. Like, no service, couldn't reach out to anyone. I told my clients ahead of time, obviously, I was like, hey, I'm going to be gone for these 2 weeks. Just getting to travel and like really experience who I was as a person without social media attached to it and without waking up and scrolling through Instagram and seeing what all these other people are doing. It
Mhm.
was so nice. It really helped me pull out of that. And I think if you have to go no service, then go no service.
Okay,
Like if
no
that
service.
is what you do, yeah. Like really, the most uncomfortable thing you can think about right now in your business, try that. Like just go for it, try it. Having no service was the scariest thing to me.
Yeah.
Like not being able to connect was so scary to me, but it is truly what pulled me out of that burnout and just letting go of more responsibilities I had and outsourcing or even just letting go of clients, like things like that, the things that stress me out the most, finding a way to work around them that could better help me and my business as a whole.
Yeah. And how are you feeling now that you've taken that break and like you're getting to
Yeah.
the swing of things? Like, how are you
Mhm.
like now?
Yeah, it took a while to get back in the groove of things. If I'm being honest, I was like, I want to go back and travel so badly.
Mhm. Yeah.
But it took a while to get back into the groove of things. But now that I'm back into it, I am so into it. And knowing that I work from 9 to 5, like I have an end. Like there is an end to the day where I can just relax, go on a walk, just relax, hang out with family. That is something I look forward to after work. And before it was looking forward to getting to work on homework. That was literally my brighten of the day was after finishing something, I could do homework. And that was such a bad mental space, like thinking that homework was a reward to me. Like, uh-uh.
Only
Yeah, I know. You're
yeah.
probably like, oh, what? Homework as a reward?
I know that's great. That just shows how where you were at that time.
Yeah, yeah, it was really bad. And now a reward to me is like ending work at 5 p.m. Like having that set deadline. If I didn't get what I needed to get done during the day, just understanding that there's a tomorrow. Like tomorrow I can do that. I can finish whatever I need to. But giving myself a hard deadline, I might want to keep going past 5. I need to stop myself at 5 because if I don't, I'm working until midnight. Like my
Yeah.
brain will keep thinking of things. And taking those breaks lets you be more creative. Like you're going to get those creative flows coming back to you once you take that break. It's really just about separating yourself from your business and understanding what you can do differently and just whatever else there is in life. There's a
Yeah.
lot more. Like
Oh yeah.
there's stuff beyond business.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I know you're like such a creative person. Even just hearing about your past, how you've always been into like art and like rebellious, it just shows like the entrepreneur spirit, or even like how you said you did a YouTube channel. It just shows that you're just a naturally creative person. And you want to tell us a little bit about the social side, what it is, why you created that, and how a viewer, someone who's watching this, they want to step up their social media game. Maybe they don't want to take a $2,000, $3,000 course, but they
Yeah.
want to learn at their pace, have a community. You want to tell us a little bit about the social side, why you created it?
Yes. So the social side was my passion project before I hit burnout. It was the thing where I realized I was hitting burnout. And so I was looking at these avenues, and I've always loved learning. And I've always loved not having to spend a lot of money to learn. And like college, like there are so many freebies out there, but having something to hold yourself accountable, and a lot of the time for people that's money. And I totally understand, like spending 3K, if that's what it takes for you to fully get invested into something, then that's what it takes. But I never found something that was for those people who are super passionate but couldn't afford that. And so the social side was birthed for those people who are just starting out, or for people who are into it but there's so many updates on Instagram. Everyone knows that. Everyone hates
Yes,
it. Yeah.
all the memes, like I can barely keep up.
Yup. As a social media manager, I struggle to keep up. And so the social side was just born to help people understand that things are going to change constantly. Like there is constantly going to be changes, whether that's Instagram, whether that's your business life, whether that's your mental health. Things change, and embracing that change and understanding that things changed is what the social side was born to be. And understanding the route to your business and brand values, whether that's what you want out of your business and those goals, making those steps actionable, and really understanding that business has a longer term goal, and avoiding burnout like me, where I hit those goals and then I was like, okay, now what? What do I do now? So social side was really born to help those entrepreneurs and those really passionate people and get them to that place where they want to be, but in actionable steps that really help avoid burnout and keep that creative passion going.
Yeah, and I have to say that I was a part of the social
Yes.
side, and I absolutely loved it because I feel like I was like, okay, I'm pretty involved, but I was like a 3-day event. We did it through Zoom, and I feel like I learned so much. I even had the recordings, I took notes. So for anyone who wants to indulge in the social side, where can they join?
Yes. So I'm not sure when the next social side will happen. I'm going to assume July, in the works.
So maybe
So
follow you and stay up to date.
yeah, definitely Instagram is the place to find it. If I ever, it's gonna happen again. That was such a
Awesome.
fun experience to connect with those people and to hear different stories. It was so nice. And so I like to think that my Instagram is a place where you can find that, where you can find those people from all different, like I'm trying to connect them into one place. And I love hearing people's story. Like I am such a backstory gal. I love hearing the birth of stuff. And so social side was just a place to hone in on that. And Instagram is going to be the place to find it at Nove Media Co. And yeah, I like to give updates to people who are really interested in joining the social side further and whenever the next one is. So yeah, that's where you can find
Awesome.
it, is
Okay,
Instagram.
awesome. And Media Me will definitely be sharing the social side. So you guys will know what,
Love Media Meet.
of course. So what advice would you give to a newer social media manager or like even like a peer of yours, a media manager listening to this? What advice would you give them? Something that like you wish you would have heard when you were starting or even during your burnout phase, or just some advice you feel like you needed to hear that you'd like to give to others.
Yeah, it goes back to the social side, is just don't stop learning. Like learning is such a beautiful, powerful thing. Throughout my burnout, I was reading a lot of books, and I haven't read since like freshman year of high school. Like I burnt myself out from reading, but I found like self-help books that I really loved. Atomic Habits was one of the best books I could have read during that time. Holding myself accountable, really all those things. I would just say industry's evolving, so staying updated as much as possible is so good for you. But
Mhm.
don't overdo it, obviously. Like learning can mean so many different things in your business. It can mean learning your self-worth. It can mean learning maybe a new tool to use. Like it means so many different things. And I think people focus on learning meaning how to make more money all the time. And it might just be your confidence that maybe you need to work on, and that is what's going to bring you in more money, or time management. There's so many different things that learning can mean. And so honing in on maybe an aspect of the month, like maybe this month I'm going to learn how to show up more authentically as myself, or something like that, and focusing it on actionable steps. Humans as a whole are just imperfect. Like we are not perfect beings at all. And so any step we can take closer to that is always a good step to take.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I appreciate all of your rights. I feel like I've learned as well because I am working a lot, a ton, right?
Yeah, no, you're doing a lot, girl, and it's so inspiring to see.
Oh,
It's
thank
genuinely
you.
so cool. Just got engaged, just moved. Like, it's really inspiring to see.
Oh, thank you. I literally appreciate your support so much. And I've loved like learning from you, even with the social side and connecting with you offline, online, like our private Zooms, and it's been amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm just so proud of you, everything you've done and like how you got started. I know you're more of like an introvert, but everything you did to get started just shows a lot. And I definitely see the entrepreneur spirit in you. Even before this, I had seen your YouTube had 1,000 like subscribers. I was like, wow, that's pretty good. Um,
Yeah.
maybe you can get that back up. But I want to ask you, I know you're still very young, but in the next 5 years, where do you see your life going? I know you have so much going on, the social side, like your business. So, like, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Yeah. So I wrote a little dialogue, obviously, like before, like getting the questions, I was like, I need to focus on business, but genuinely being able to give back to those people who are in the beginning of their business stage or still in it, and being able to do that while living my life, like while being able to travel or experience life what it should be. I'm young. I want to experience as much as possible before those settling down years, and I really don't think I'm ever going to settle down. Like knowing me, I think I'm going to be 80 and still wanting to travel.
Yeah.
Knowing me, I love like experiencing new cultures,
Mhm.
exploring, whether that's just a road trip through the United States, like whatever it may be. But I hope Nova Media is at a point where I can look back and appreciate how hard I worked to get to wherever I am, whether that means that Nova Media Co. is still there, and I hope it's still a learning ground for people. I hope to go more into education and to help those people who are at the stage where I am. I hope I can look back and give advice and really help people understand where they're at in their business and working with those smaller businesses still. I don't have any intentions on working with super big corporations or whatever. I love the personality behind smaller businesses, and those connections that you get they're gonna hold with you for a lifetime. They're there forever. And so just having that passion and vision, I hope is still there, and I hope I'm still doing something with it.
Yeah, no, I just love your message so much because even what you said right now, always helping those people who are like starting, right? Smaller businesses, connecting with people and teaching. It's so
Yeah.
crazy because just this just shows like how in tune you are with like your vision for like long term. Because when I reached out to you with Media Me, I've
Yeah.
like reached out to like hundreds of media managers, right? And you not only did you like reply to me, it was like a cold email. And I, at this time, like I didn't know anything about media managers. I was just trying to get on calls to hear their needs. What do they need in a software? Because I'm like a businesswoman. I've built softwares, but this was my first
Yeah.
time like stepping into this space. I've
Yeah.
grown up in media. I love being in front of the camera, but this was like a different. And
Yeah.
I remember you were like, I'll never forget this because when you're starting and you're desperate and you need help, and there's
It's
those people,
scary. Yeah.
right? It's like your first clients, you never forget them. And I feel like since the beginning, you've opened the door for me in this space. You've been so kind. Like you met with me, like so many people didn't even reply. And like now we have that like genuine connection. So
Connection.
I
Yeah.
didn't know what your answer was, but it's so like in tune and aligned with like how you are as a person because I'm telling you, I've DM'd hundreds of people and you were so genuine about it. And now we're friends and I'm just like really proud of you. And like you just have such a beautiful like soul, right? Because you'll never forget like those first people that were like there for you, like right, your first clients or like me. I'll never forget like you that you let me interview you in the beginning and just hear about like your social media needs. And at that time, I was like really desperate to talk to people. And it's not everyone wants to just get on a call with you that you like randomly DM. So I'm just like, I love your mission and I know you're gonna do amazing. I can definitely see you as like a digital nomad traveling different
Okay,
countries,
I'll take it.
teaching
Okay.
teaching media online. But yeah, no, it's been amazing getting to know you. Is there any last words you would like to leave our audience with? Anything heavy on your heart that you want to
Yeah.
share this like last piece with others?
Yeah, always be authentic. I wish I told myself at the beginning, like, being able to start my business on the foot that I just wanted connections, and I was hiding that for so long in the beginning because I was scared that people wouldn't wanna work with me because I was a smaller brand. I didn't have that much to my name. Once I started opening up, and honestly, people were drawn to that because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who have that ego to them, and they're that really big person, and it can either draw people away or you draw in those bigger corporations. Like, maybe that's what you want, but that is not what I wanted in the beginning. So just honing in on who you are, and maybe that means taking a step back and understanding that who you are is not your business. Like I keep saying, like, you are not your business. Like,
Mm.
your life exceeds what your business is, and really understanding that that is who you are is a completely separate person, and showing up authentically on social media like, "Hey, I'm burnt out. This
Yeah.
is not happening for me recently." And just having those people who support you and really understand and will be those super audience members who will be with you throughout all of it is so important. And I wish I started off on that foot. And I've had those people who've been with me since day one and seen that growth. And I wish it didn't take me so long, but also it's a part of the journey. And it just means I'm doing new things, and I'm really glad about it. And so just always being authentic, whatever that is in your heart during that time, is really important to follow.
Wow, I love that. Man, I feel like I really felt that because my fiance is always telling me like you need to be more authentic, you need to be more real. He's been telling me for months because I feel like I play this persona of business, right? But he's like, your personality is just so bright and shine. And I
Yeah.
felt like when you said it, I was like, damn, like that hit. Yeah,
Personality is everything. That is what drew me to you, was even though it was a cold message, understanding that you were outreaching a hand, like I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take that hand. I'm gonna do as much as I can with it because I love this person automatically." Like,
yeah.
getting to go back and forth with you, and then after talking to you, I was like, "Oh, this is a girl I want forever." I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't care what it is. Like, I don't care if it's me not working with no media. Like, I don't care if it's something else. Like, I love this person. And
Yeah.
I throw love a lot, but I genuinely mean it. Like, I love what you stand for. I love what you're doing. I love everything about it. And so I'm so excited with Media Me. It's like a big step, and I wanted to help whatever way I could. And even if that was telling you about what I do, I was there for it. I was there 100%.
You've been there since day one, and now we have an amazing friendship. And if you're ever in Spain, you need to visit. And if I'm ever in Alaska,
Of
you're my
course,
girl.
Spain.
But nonetheless, I want to thank you so much, Jazz, for your time and just being the person you are, and for all the information and insight and inspo that people are going to get from this. Last thing I want to say is, where can people find you? Where can people connect with you? Give them your social so people can give you a follow.
Yeah, I want to thank you again for all of this. You can find me and chat with me. Please connect with me. I
Yeah,
love it.
you're amazing. You
Uh,
actually replied your DMs. You want to actually connect with people.
yes, at Nove Media Co. is where you can find me. I like to stay as personable as possible, whether that's on stories or my captions or my post itself. I just like creating connections. So you can find me at Nove Media Co. And yeah, I'll be there. Reach out whenever.
Awesome. Thank you, Jazz.
Yeah, thank you.